Now we're going to get right to it. We're going to take you back to 2012 to one of my most memorable hunts I'll ever have. Our next hunt is probably one of my favorite deer hunts I've ever had. You can say it happened quick in a way, and in a way it took a long time. It was a really windy day. I went and checked some trail cameras on another farm. I knew I didn't have a tree for that wind, and it was like 35 plus mile an hour winds that day. So I ended up checking this ravine that goes about a half a mile out into a field, a deep ravine. Ended up finding a buck bedded in it. We knew he'd been bedded in there several other times. Just hard to get to him and catch him. The wind was right that day. I found where he was bedded, parked a good distance away, come in through some waterways a couple hundred yards or more away from him. Took me probably a good 45 minutes to get in on him, to close the distance. I sat and watched him at 27 yards for about 3 hours. He stood up once during it, basically just repositioned himself, never offered me a shot. He bedded back down. At that point, I knew which way he was facing, which way he was looking the whole time. And after about another hour and a half of it, I couldn't take no more, so I decided to get up on the bank from him and put a stalk on him. So it's definitely one of my most memorable hunts. The first mature deer like that I've stalked up on and shot. So let's go take a look at that. Now before I started my stalk, I took my regular camera and set it up on the tripod on this hilltop to try to catch some of the action. But it was so windy that day that about a half an hour into it, the wind had blew the camera over. Now I knew where the deer was. He was bedded right in here. And I knew if I could get to this tree here, I'd be in shooting range of him.
I'm laying here on the ground. I stalked up on this big buck in this ravine. I've been sitting here for about an hour, and he just stood up once. So I'm just going to try to wait him out, see what happens.
Well, after he stood up, repositioned himself, and laid back down, I watched him for another hour and finally decided it's time to make a move. So I got up on the ridge above him. I only had to go around about 30 yards. I knew exactly the way he was facing, the direction he kept looking, and exactly where I needed to be above him. The only thing I didn't know was if there was going to be anything in the way of a shot once I got there. Once I got up close to the edge, I peeked up and over. There was nothing in the way of making the shot, and I only needed to take a couple more steps.
Yes! Oh my God, I love it! This is why I do this stuff, man. Oh my God, what is that? I'm gonna range it. Seven yards. Look at this blood. Right where he laid. Yeah. Here's my arrow.
You can't believe how happy I am. Let's go down here and look at him. Well, after a little stalk, I finally got him. I sat and watched him for 3 hours. I was only about 29 yards from him, just watching him bedded. He got up once and moved. I could not get a shot at him then. He just kind of basically just got up and turned around and laid back down. So I got up on the ridge from him finally. I could actually see, I knew which way he was laying, which way he kept looking. And so I got up on the ridge from him. It's extremely windy today. And I got up 7 yards from him. Drilled him perfect double lung right into the other shoulder. He went about 20 yards, 30 yards and fell over. And that rage just did a number on him. Put a huge hole in him. I'm happy. It's been a rough season. Now I gotta figure out if I can get him out of here by myself. He fell down into this other ravine. But I guess if I can, I'll call for some help.